welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Current Events and Constitutional Commentary channel. Now, if you don't know, this is a commentary channel, and what I do is I talk over the video. Well, I hit pause and then I talk, and then I hit pause again and then I talk. So please don't comment that I'm talking, because I'm telling you that I'm going to talk right now. But if you're a regular viewer, you know how it is. Let's go ahead and get it on. All right, so this video today is about constitutional rights, and mainly is about young folks, children. So I just want to say, you might not be too many kids watching it, but if you're a parent, even if you're a child, you have constitutional rights, okay? Just like anybody else, like an adult. And the main thing to be learned here in this video is, excuse me, you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to talk to police. You do not need to cooperate with police. And if the police are doing an investigative stop, you should have your parents around. So if they try to say, hey, you got to talk to me, which is a lie, and which they're going to do several times in here, telling you what your parents did. But they shouldn't be questioning you out here in the streets like this. Now, you can do what you want and take your chances talking to police, but the best thing is to not say anything until your parents get there. Or if you're an adult, just don't say nothing. Let them prove that you're doing something wrong. That's how it's supposed to work. You're innocent until proven guilty, and you don't have to prove yourself out on the street.
What building?
Come on now.
No. What building do you live in?
Officers respond to a call of a fight between about 20 teens. Some of these teens are known to have an extensive criminal history.
So I'm gonna tell you.
So that little PSA, I don't know where they're getting this from. Some of these teens have an extensive criminal history, because you're not going to find that out in this video. I'm not sure how the cops even found this out, because they only really hemmed up like 3 or 4 kids and pretty much just talk nasty to all the rest. So for one, the cops didn't know when they got there that anybody had an extended criminal history. I don't know how extensive it could be, because these kids are not even that old. I mean, you can't be like 8-year-old and start going to jail and stuff like that, because you're not even really old enough to be even adding up stuff to your record. But anyway, and so they don't know any of these kids to know that they have a previous history, because all they do is keep going around asking all these kids, do they live there? So if they knew who these people were, to know that they had an extensive criminal history, they wouldn't be asking them, do you live here, or what's your name, and stuff like that. But according to the video, it doesn't look like one cop knew one kid. So I don't know how they know that they dealing with kids that got extensive criminal history. Sounds like they're just trying to push a very negative narrative. Not cool.
This ain't all I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna get.
Come on, what you doing that for?
Why? Because it's called loitering and prowling, and you're.
So the guy, I think he said he lived over here or something like that. But the officer wanted the building number. He didn't say the building number, so he arrested him, and that's the part of obstructing, because he didn't talk to police. Like I said, if he's trespassing, it's up to the cops to prove it. You don't have to help them out. You don't have to tell them where you live at. They have to prove that you don't live here. That's the way that it works. And then he made up this loitering and prowling stuff, which is pretty confusing to me. Because it's broad daylight. You know, they're in a residential area. They're not like they're in like a shopping center, you know, prowling for stores. But I guess you could be prowling, you know, neighborhoods to break into. But it doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's like 20, 30 kids out here. And normally if you're trying to do a crime like prowl and stuff, you're not going to do it in front of all these people. It just doesn't make a lot of common sense at all. Furthermore, the loitering part, it has to do with time, because I know like some ordinances, they were like, it's described as sitting around for 30 minutes or more, you know, aimlessly or without a purpose. So it's time based. Now when the cops got here, they didn't see anybody fighting, so they couldn't charge anybody with fighting. They didn't see anybody. They see a lot of people hanging around, so I could kind of understand getting them with trespassing. But the loitering stuff, I mean, just think about it. They're in a residential neighborhood. If me and 5 of my friends go over somebody's apartment complex and sit outside and talk, we're loitering. Yeah, we don't have a purpose per se. We're just sitting here chilling and kicking a willy bobo. But we got to go inside the house to talk. We can't just hang out outside and chill. We're loitering or we're prowling. So the part about prowling really means that you're looking for something to do wrong. And let me just look this up real quick because I want to see what they try to place. Give me one hot second. Okay, prowling meaning. Let's see. To roam over in a predatory manner. So I don't really think they was doing anything like that the officer can see like they're trying to do something bad or anything like that. They were just kind of hanging around. Like they know that they were doing something bad. They were fighting, but they didn't see it. Okay. I don't have the good law definition of prowling. One moment. Yeah, I can't get a good definition. I probably should look this up before I did a video. So I didn't. So let's just keep going.
Obstructing.
Come on now, what you doing that for? I just came
Oh, him.
He ain't got nothing to do with that. He just got school.
Who are you?
I'm his cousin.
Where's his cousin?
I'm his cousin.
So right there, they trying to hem him up because he came over saying that the guy didn't have nothing to do with it. But you know, cops don't like that, so hands behind the back, just like that.
I ain't do nothing. I just got over here.
You can take me, you can take me, you
I
can
got
take
my
me.
phone in my phone. Come on. Hey, no, come on. Go put your hands.
about to go to jail, too.
Get off. Stop. Get the Sir, stop. Sir, stop. Please, sir, stop.
So basically, that's his sister. His sister saw that his brother was getting hemmed up, which he was. Why they got the black guy right there in the red shoes? Why they got him all bent over like that? But that's the guy arrested for obstruction because he answered the question for the building. Now you see the female ran over trying to help his brother out. Okay, she's young, she's not that bright. You know, you shouldn't really come in there and touch the officer. I get it, but they're kids. But you got to remember, look, she didn't have any weapons, she didn't have a knife, anything like that. She just came over there trying to help out her brother, but her brother saw this and grabbed her. Like you see it, her brother is grabbing her, holding her to the ground, so she can't even, you know, touch the cops. He's stopping her. He's not even wanting violence. But the cop don't see this, and they go on to say they're fearing for their lives, and they gotta apprehend her and be all aggressive and all this other dumb stuff. But you're not gonna find any weapons, any drugs, anything like that. I mean, if you really thought this female was trying to kill the officer, okay, then this is valid. If you really thought his life was in danger and she was about to really hurt him with her hands, okay, well, this is valid. I didn't see it that way. I see it as a young child trying to protect her brother. But like I said, the cops don't care. They're gonna face plant her in a second. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but they had this guy in like a pretzel. I mean, I don't get it why they still. This is a guy that, you know, didn't say where he lived at and got arrested. But look at it. I mean, he's in like a backwards pretzel crab walk. Like, why did they have him like this? And look at the words, man, what the F? Because I need an explanation. Like, why you got these people all bent up and twisted? Like I said, the female gonna be eating grass in a minute.
Get the
So all the guy in the red, the kid in the red, is he's just trying to help his sister out. He's not touching the officer. He's not hitting the officer. He's not trying to stab the officers. But he's gonna be treated like a criminal and get hemmed up. We'll see shortly. So I just don't understand why the cops don't take a second, step back and breathe and realize what's going on. And basically all they really needed to do was just make the kids disperse. All this locking up, accusing of loitering and prowling, it's just ridiculous. And all this going physical on kids just not look good in the public eye at all. Just doesn't.
Back it up. Back it up.
It's my big sister, please. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
See? Just manhandling kids, man. Just manhandling them. So she's in there eating flowers and leaves all in the ground. Like I said, she did, and I'm not making an excuse for it, she did come bump the officer, but as soon as she bumped the officer, her brother grabbed her, had her pinned down to the ground. But the cops released that grip to let her go a little more wild so they can have an excuse to say that she's resisting and fighting and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? When her brother was trying to control him, but they was pulling her brother away from even controlling her. Doesn't make any sense. So now, you know, they got a face planted. You know, she got all these leaves in her mouth and stuff. And at the end of the day, she didn't have no weapon. She wasn't trying to hurt the officer. You know what I'm saying? But these officers still say they fear for their lives, which I think is ridiculous, man. But these are our cops.
My big sister. Me, bro. My big sister, bro. Please don't do nothing.
Take me out these handcuffs.
Put him in the car.
Step away.
Big sister.
Step away.
For what? I ain't do shit.
Loitering and prowling.
Carry my arm.
Get the out of me, bro. We got nothing to do. We just game over here. I'm gonna get my sister. Get my sister the up off that ground. Or every time mistake the one of your officers. Oh, God.
Yeah, so people get mad because she was on the ground for a while just eating grass and all this and that, man. But like I said, if you really think she's a hardened criminal, that she's a threat to society, that she's going to run around and knife and seriously hurt someone, then okay, this going to jail is appropriate. But I really don't think the officer's life was in danger really at all, because as soon as she bumped her, her brother grabbed her and the officer was safe. But, you know, they treated her like, you know, she tried to attack President Trump or something.
Let me go. I ain't got no Wi-Fi, man. Let me go.
Where do you live at?
Oh, I will stay out here.
Then get out of here now. Where do you live at? You work here. All right, kick rocks. Where do you?
All right, so absolutely no professionalism here. You know, they're going to just talk to the kids any way they want. This guy said he worked there in the community. I don't know, maintenance or whatever he is. I don't know. He still told him to kick rocks. So they just getting everybody out of there, whether you work there, live there, or anything.
You live at? All right, kick rocks. That one.
Which one? Renter?
All right, so now they about to really do some menacing. Like I said, the police officer need to take a breath and realize what's going on. They're about to get this guy in the red shirt, right? The little kid. Now, he doesn't have any weapons. They haven't seen any weapons. They haven't seen any drugs. They have no reason to believe that he's some type of extreme criminal. But they really going to scare this kid to death. I mean, and this is why kids growing up end up not liking police, because they're treating this young kid the same way they would treat somebody who had a gun trying to kill somebody. It's just no difference. And let's see as they approach. Look at this. Kid is scared to death. Because he's probably thinking, why are you two big cops with guns and all this stuff coming at me? I'm just a little kid. What, he's like 12? He's probably like 62 pounds. Why y'all about to go aggressively arrest or detain this kid? For what? What did he even do? He actually, so far, has done absolutely nothing wrong. He ran over to the cop and said, hey, that's my cousin. He didn't hit the cops. Cops are like, say, ho, wait up. But he didn't hit him or nothing. He just said, hey, that's my cousin. Leave him alone. And then he walked away. And the only reason why he became a person of interest because the girl ran over trying to help him. But that wasn't him. He didn't do nothing wrong. All he did was grab his sister and stop her from touching the cops. And because he did that, I guess the cops don't like that, and now they're just gonna try to hem him up. But it's gonna be the same BS, which is loitering, prowling, and obstruction. I mean, they're just throwing this bogus charge out to everybody.
Hey, okay, I get down. Call my mama.
Where do you live? Where do you live? Then leave. Where do you live? Get your hands out of your pants. Get your hands out of your pants. Where do you live at?
Remember, you don't have to answer any questions from cops. You just don't. But these cops don't like that, and they will arrest you for it. It's kind of ridiculous.
Where do you live at? Huh? Where do you live at?
Why you in my face, cousin?
He didn't answer the question. He had about 1.2 seconds to answer the question. He didn't answer it. So guess what's about to happen? Handcuffs.
Oh, where are you getting handcuffs?
Now, remember, this kid they taking down aggressively is the guy that had 1.2 seconds to answer where he lived at. He didn't answer the question. Apparently, he does not have the right to remain silent. and he's going down for it.
Nobody did to y'all.
And this is the fact. This looked like a shit show. And cops, you know, probably ain't too many cops watching, but when you're very aggressive to little kids, it's never going to look good to the community. Because the first thing people are going to ask is, what do they do? These are not harming criminals, even if they are criminals. That's something they did in the past. You can't really judge them on what they did in the past. You got to judge them on what they're doing right now. You can't arrest this kid because he had a gun possession 2 years ago. You can't do that. You got to treat the scene as what's going on right now. Right now, the guy's not armed. He's not threatening nobody. He's not trying to rob nobody. He's not trying to stab nobody. All he did was grab his sister and stop her from touching y'all. And now he's getting hemmed up aggressively. And y'all call yourselves helping the community when these kids are not even terrorizing the community. The only problem they had were amongst themselves. They had a fight amongst themselves. They weren't running around just bumping into random citizens and hitting them and taking stuff from them. They weren't doing anything like that.
Yes, you did.
So this is why kids growing up will probably not like cops, because they're not treating them like kids. They treat them like a grown man who's committed a serious crime.
All I did was put you in cuffs.
Bro, give me the on this girl and get me out of these cuffs and take me home. See how y'all just dropped your body cam?
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
If you don't live here, leave.
Y'all got my brother. What the didn't even do?
You see, when they say you don't live here, leave, they don't know who lives there. If you don't answer the question, they don't know who lives there. They really have to prove that you don't live there. They don't know. So they just shouting silly stuff. But like I said, if you're a kid, because it's going to come up some more, don't talk to police. Wait for your parents. It's going to be hard when the cops start lying, as they're going to do, and say, hey, you got to talk. Hey, you got to do this. And they're going to treat you like you don't have any rights. It's going to be hard. But take it from me. I know if you are a minor, don't talk to the cops. Wait for your parents. Ignore everything else they say. Trust me, if you would not get in trouble for remaining quiet and waiting for your parent. So don't talk to them just because they say you got to. They're only trying to get you to say something to hem you up.
Y'all just texted him.
If you don't live here, leave. If you live here, go to your home.
Come get my phone.
Calm down.
Come in and call my sister. Can you get my phone?
I told you no.
It's right here.
What is know me?
So I don't know what the big deal is, but they want to get the phone, and the cop don't want to let them get the phone, and they're saying if they try to get the phone, he's threatening to take them to jail. I don't know why they think it's so cute to be accusing little kids to going to jail over phone.
She want her phone.
No.
She ain't did shit, so why she can't get her phone?
Stand back.
Just ignore Austrias.
Yeah, just ignore me.
We will.
You want to go to jail?
Right. He think it's cute to just threaten kids over phone to go to jail. I don't understand the seriousness of the phone part, that he want to take people to jail over it. You know, like I said, this will never look good in the eyes of the community, just harassing kids for petty reasons. Like I said, you didn't see her fighting. You don't see her with a weapon. You don't see her with drugs, anything. Only thing you see her talking about is a phone. And you're threatening jail. This is why people don't like cops.
I know. Probably because they was just fighting, man. They tripping. Come to the garden. They got her in the car, bro.
So again, they were fighting, but the cops didn't see them fight. They don't know who was fighting. So at this point, all they really should do is just make people go home. All this putting people in handcuffs like they're doing, all this threatening, loitering stuff, which is definitely some BS in the middle of the day, just because people are hanging around together. They call it loitering and prowling.
Step away.
Hey, I'm on the phone. Stop talking. Why you keep talking?
Boy, just wait. Just wait till my daddy get out here, boy. On my soul. You get up, I ain't this. Y'all.
Man, bro, shut up, man. Chill out, bro.
You all right?
You get walking?
You all right?
So this is pretty sad. Cops checking on each other like they're all right. So again, it's not like they were called to a gun shooting or a knife stabbing or anything like that. It was just a bunch of kids who didn't have any weapons, and they're asking themselves, are they okay? Like, every cop out there is at least 2 times as big, weigh twice as much as any kid out there, and apparently they can't handle themselves. You know what I mean? Now, I can understand they pull up on some bodybuilders, some wrestlers, some people have some weapons, some poles, some sticks. I get it. But out of all these kids, they didn't find like one weapon, not one drug. They just found some kids who were quote unquote loitering, some kids who didn't want to answer their questions, and they got feared for their lives. It's kind of ridiculous.
Man, they just arrested him too.
Where do you live at? Where do you live at?
Man, that question is like crack cocaine. I mean, they keep asking everybody, but I thought they knew everybody. Like, they knew, like, some of these kids we're looking at have extensive criminal history as it was posted. But they don't even know where they live at, but they know about their criminal history. They don't know their names. They ain't called out one person their name. How did they know these people have criminal histories? I think it's just a very bad narrative that somebody's trying to spew.
All right, you're about to come here and talk to me. Where do you live at?
So, once again, that's a lie. That's not the law. If you're this child right here and he says, come over here, you have to talk to me, you can come over there, because he'll come up with some bullshit extracting if you don't. Put you in handcuffs as a child if you don't. But when you go over there, you say, I want to remain silent. I want my parent there. And all the questioning should stop, but it won't. What happens is the cop continue to lie. They continue to gaslight these kids into talking to them and doing stuff without their parents there, and making them believe. Like, some of these kids you see kind of knew about the law, but the cops were gaslighting them, making it seem like they were wrong. We'll get to it.
Hey, good. You do have to talk to me. Watch me. Where do you live at?
I ain't got to answer your question.
All right, then cool. We're going to handcuff.
So, I believe that was she's right. She don't have to answer anybody's question. You have rights just like a grown person. Unfortunately, depending on the cop you get, like this one, you go to jail for it. So she about to get put in handcuffs for not answering the question. This is a violation of rights. You have the right to remain silent, and it's just crazy that they're doing this to kids. Going up to kids, asking them questions, just like the second or third person they asking the question, they didn't answer, and they put them in handcuffs. It's utterly ridiculous.
Come on. Number 5.
There you go. The 5th person that's under loitering, prowling, and obstruction, that's when they ask you a question and you don't answer it. Now, somebody tell me, am I wrong? Do you have to talk to police? Do you not have the right to remain silent? So why are you in handcuffs? And you're a child. They just treat them like blatant criminals. All they doing at this point was hanging around after the fight, and all the cops really need to do, instead of scuffling with little kids looking bad on film, is just tell these folks to go home. Or even though they standing there, they're not actually being rowdy. They're just getting agitated because the cops keep walking up to them and asking a question. But they're not running around fighting. They're not running around breaking into stuff. They're not running around prowling. But of course, the cops don't like this.
All obstruction, loitering and prowling. I can do.
So again, loitering, I guess because she was standing out in front of that building. So once again, if her or me, we go there, we sit there and talk, I guess for 3 minutes, then we're loitering. And we're also prowling. And then while we're sitting there chilling, if a cop comes up and answers a question, and I don't answer it, then I get charged with obstruction. These are the cops that are patrolling our streets, harassing kids. At this point, they're harassing them. The fact that they're asking them questions and putting them in handcuffs, 5 of them, is harassment, because they do not have to answer questions. Nobody can prove me wrong on that. Nobody. And remember, they minors. They shouldn't be talking to these cops without parents.
This all day long.
Yeah, last time you talked to me, you said you were going to kill us all.
I didn't say that. So when you put words in my mouth, so you just put me in handcuffs because I didn't want to answer your question.
That's called obstruction.
That's not.
See, now, this kid was smart, but they're going to gaslight her. just want to be clear here. These students, these kids are not dumb. They got some sense of what the law is. They got some sense of what the Constitution is. But the police officers, man, they want to just gaslight. I don't think that's cool. Let's go.
You just put me in handcuffs because I didn't want to answer your question.
That's called obstruction.
That's not
and right
called
now, loading and
obstruction.
prowling and obstruction.
Do you know the rule, love?
Do I know the rule? Yeah, I know the rule. I know the rule.
You just put me in handcuffs.
So, absolutely, it's not a rule.
Let me
I'm not sure where you got that rule from, but that's not a rule.
I don't have to answer your question.
You're right. You don't have to answer my question. You can go in handcuffs. Now it's called loading and prowling.
See, so he just kind of contradicted himself. He kept saying, hey, you got to answer the question. No, you ain't got to answer the question. Now he's saying, no, you don't have to answer. But now he's trying to say there's punishment for not answering the question, and it's called loading, prowling, and obstruction. I just don't know how he's trying to hem up all these people with the same silly-ass charges. Because, like, here's the thing. If this person is loitering, why aren't the other 15 people out there loitering and prowling? Now, I can understand maybe not the obstruction charge because I don't know if they asked everybody a question and they didn't answer. But definitely, if these people are loitering, what are all the other kids standing out there doing? Shouldn't they all go down for loitering and prowling? How are only these people loitering and prowling? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Just doesn't make any sense. But let's keep it going. See what happens here.
Obstruction. Have a seat. We need more cars.
They have your phone. Do you live out here?
Yes.
Okay, what apartment you live in?
No, I don't live in this apartment.
Okay. I need, if you don't live here,
I live here.
What apartment?
I live down the street.
You need to go home, please.
I live here, but I don't live
Have
here.
your mother, if you live here, have your mother come see me. Pull her out.
So I guess his, I would assume landlord or somebody that works there, but even she doesn't even recognize the kids, don't even know where the kids are at. So, I mean, it's one thing living here. I guess you're not allowed to have friends come over and stuff like that because she tell them you have to leave, or at least know you can go in the house. But nobody seems to know who these kids are, but somehow they all know that they have extensive criminal history. I don't like that one bit.
I'm not even paying with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
41.
This is the way this works.
Oh, so that guy probably does work there that was walking with her. But the cop still told him to kick rocks. I mean, he still told him to kick rocks even though he worked there, man. These cops are just out of control.
If you do not live on this premises, then you are loitering or prowling, which means you.
So, couple things here. Now, I don't know if it's a stop and ID state. I have to look it up. Now, this is the first time he's talking about required to identify, because watching this video, I didn't see him ask anybody their names. He was just asking them, did they live there? So asking someone if you live there and identifying are definitely two different things. But what he's also saying is, if you don't live there, which means, let's say I live there, but I invited you and 4 other people to come over there, and I come outside, we start talking. According to this officer, you guys are loitering and prowling because y'all don't live here. See how that doesn't make any sense? Unless this community has some policy where you're not allowed to have any friends over, how is it automatically loitering and prowling? This is what they're trying to instill in these kids, that you can't hang around anywhere outside in public, or it's loitering and prowling, and then you got to answer all these questions to police. This is definitely not the way it works. And they're definitely gaslighting these kids, and they should be ashamed of these kids. What they should be doing, maybe just educating the kids. But at least, like, I know police officers are allowed to lie to people, but don't lie to the kids. They're young, they're impressionable. They might even believe you, and then they live their life not knowing they have rights. But luckily, if they tune into this YouTube channel, I could always help them out with their rights. So I don't know why he's treating this kid like a hardened criminal. He sit here and said you're required to identify. He never even asked this guy to identify. Never. But he definitely asked him where he lived at. But that's not identifying.
You are required to identify yourself to me. If you do live here, and I ask you your name and where you live, and you can't provide it, now you're required to quell my suspicions.
So this is also a lie. Okay? So here's the thing. An officer may need to quell his suspicions to maybe detain you, but you're not required to quell. Because this all goes down to remaining silent. You don't have to say nothing. Now, requiring you to quell means you most likely have to say or explain something to quell. But you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say shit. It's up to him to prove that you're doing something illegal. So at the end of the day, you can't really beat him detaining you, but he gonna have to let you go if he doesn't have any evidence to support his suspicions. But this whole required stuff right here, and just pay attention, parents, it's all bullshit. It's not true. Especially a minor, you don't have to do anything. He can sit right there and wait for his parents and let his parents come and quell his suspicion. If they want to talk to police, I wouldn't talk to him. I'd be like, okay, you got my son detained for some crime. Okay, I'm gonna sit here while you prove it, and I'm not gonna help him out because it's the police job. It's not yours to help him. You have no requirement to help cops. You have no requirement to be cooperative. None whatsoever. Ever. So instead of being a learning and teaching moment, the cop is just blatantly lying to these young kids about their rights. And this guy kind of knows what he's talking about, but he's not getting any help from the cop. Because the cop is just really just looking for something to take him to jail for. And we are on bogus charges. Like, I would have been more acceptable if he was trying to charge these people with disorderly conduct. Not that it fit, but that's like the catch-all charge when you can't find nothing else. But to walk up on some people sitting there chilling in a neighborhood and say they're loitering and prowling without even seeing them loiter and prowl, it's just totally ridiculous.
That you're not loitering and prowling, which is why you're in handcuffs in the back of my car. Now, what's your name?
So, at this point, if this is a stop and ID state, which I didn't look up, yeah, my bad, then you don't have to answer. Because a lot of states, you don't have to tell your name until you get arrested. So let's just assume it's a stop and ID state. If it's not a stop and ID state, then the cop is doing even more gaslighting, saying that he has to say his name and identify. But the cop is going. I mean, the guy is going to at least identify. But I would think if he's in a cop car at this point, the cop should just wait for his parent. Like all this questioning stuff it doesn't look good. You know, all this, coercing. Talking all mean to the kid while he's in the back of a police car with no parent or guardian. It's not a good look at all.
Cameron, I don't want you to be in handcuffs, but I don't want to take you to jail. I would much rather call your mom come pick you.
He should have called his mom in the first place if you're going to throw him in the back of the police car and start asking him all these questions and lying to him about his rights. Don't try to switch up now.
What?
Now this girl, out of all the people out here, this is the only person that actually committed a crime that the officers saw. Now, they may have been fighting, but the officer didn't see it. That's why nobody went to jail for fighting or disorderly conduct, because they didn't see it. Only thing they did see was this girl run up and bump the cop. She didn't throw a punch. She didn't elbow him. She didn't kick him. She just kind of bumped him and said, "Leave my brother alone." But the officers try to have some reasonable articulate suspicion that their life was in danger, so they had to take aggressive maneuvers to take her down. Now, we all saw the video, and as a police officer, I don't know why you feel that your life was so threatened by her. Now, if she had a weapon or something, I get it, but we all know she didn't have any weapons, any drugs, anything like that. She didn't even throw no punches. She was a little loud and ran buskers, but she is a kid. I mean, does this not factor in at all that she's a kid? Not to these officers.
Hey, yo, hold up. Chill out. First of all, we're going to start this whole thing over.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm her mother. Why is my daughter in handcuffs?
Your daughter?
But see, here's the thing. Well, this is for her, but the other guy was in the truck, the police truck, and they should have been called the parents out and explained to them, because you're dealing with a minor. You got to be careful dealing with minors. But these cops are treating them like everybody out here are grown adults.
Is in handcuffs because
now she was fighting well, this is alleged because they didn't see her fighting, unless she's talking about when she bumped into the cops. But I wouldn't say she was fighting the cops. She bumped the cops and then got immediately grabbed by her brother. We all saw this on video, but they didn't see her fighting. But she's gonna tell her mom she was fighting.
She was fighting and then thought it was a good idea for her to try to swing on the police.
Well, see, we say try to swing because she didn't really swing. I mean, we can always go rewind the video. Like I said, she did bump her. It's technically assault. Like I said, everybody out there, this is the only person that actually committed a crime. But how petty of a crime is it? Because as soon as she bumped into the officer, her brother restrained her. They make it seem like she was wilding out, going crazy on the cop or whatever. That wasn't the case. So if you want to be petty and take it to jail, go right ahead. That's what you cops do.
So as of right now, your daughter is about to go to the juvenile detention center. You can ask him questions.
Okay, also, where's my son?
Who's your son?
The
He
little
in
light
that car too. He in the car too. They tried to tackle. No, this is what happened. She was not fighting. They was jumping a boy, and then Rashad had jumped in.
See, that's the same thing. The police officer just told her that she was fighting. Police didn't see a fight at all whatsoever. But why would they sit there and blatantly lie to her mom like they know that she was fighting? They didn't see her fighting.
And I guess they tried to arrest him too. So that's when Forrest swung.
All right, we're going to stop all this. So this is the way this works.
That's your daughter?
That's my daughter, and that's my son.
Your daughter is under arrest. She hit 2 officers.
What did all?
Now she hit 2 officers. I mean, maybe we don't have all the video, but we clearly saw when she ran up and bumped one. I didn't really see a punch thrown. Y'all can rewind it back if you want to, but now it's 2 officers she attacked. But here's the thing, man. She's a child. You want to take her to jail. You want to get some on her record that she did as a kid that might affect her 5 years down the road when she gets a job and she realizes she did something dumb as a kid, that these officers want to make some type of statement by taking her to jail. Just ask yourself, how serious was the crime? Did any officers get hurt? Did any bystanders or citizens, did she hurt or attack any citizens? Did she really hurt the community? And factor in she's a kid. Well, these officers are heartless, so to jail she goes.
What you do to my baby?
They tried to tackle Rashad, and that's when she jumped on him.
Hey, all right. Do we have a Rashad?
Well, that's a true story. I mean, that's a true story. They were trying to, detain, arrest Rashad, and she ran in just like she said. She was trying to do that. She wasn't trying to attack the officer. She did exactly what that child said. The child is not lying. That's all she was doing. She was trying to protect her son. She's a kid. But you tell her the officer, she just came over to she just wanted to beat up the cops for no reason, because she's just a wild, bandit, a wild young child. She just wanted to run around and beat up on officers. That's what they try to make it seem. She made a young child decision to try to protect her brother. I mean, I've seen way more worst cases than this. I've seen actual crime, actual criminals.
Her brother.
So he's the first one to charge that man.
But there's no charges on him?
No charges.
All right, so, ma'am.
See, this is the thing. No charges. Of course there ain't no charges, because you're making up some BS. A bunch of garbage. But you unlocked everybody up in the police car for loitering and prowling and obstruction. You already knew they was BS charges. If they were so real, where are the charges? Why don't you lock them up and take them? That's when people say it's harassment, when you're doing all this stuff and you claim you got reason for loitering and prowling, and then you don't even follow up on it.
Excuse me? So right now your son Rashad, I believe he's one of the ones we had detained as well. He's not being charged with anything, okay?
So why did they tackle Rashad? Why did they bend him up like a pretzel? Why did they say he was loitering and prowling? Why did they accuse him of obstruction if he's not being charged? Because he didn't do anything. So why would the cops mess with him in the first place? Why would they roughing up a kid?
Apparently there was a large fight out here. We don't know why.
See how you say apparently? They don't know. They didn't see anything. But they just told this lady right here that they know her child was fighting.
Yeah. As this large fight broke out, officers arrived on scene here and we tried to gain control. Your son Rashad charged at one of the officers. He didn't get hit. He didn't hit anybody or anything like that, so he was detained. When that happened, I guess his sister came up, and that's when she struck 2 officers. That's why she is now detained and being placed under arrest. Okay?
Petty, man. Petty. They're not helping out the community with this.
So out of this whole fight, my daughter the only person going to jail?
Now see, that's correct. She's the only person, but technically, like I said, she's the only one that technically, although petty, did do a charge. But according to the officers, every single person out there is guilty of loitering, prowling, and the ones that ask where they stay, which is like half of them, obstruction. But of course, they don't follow up on it, so we know that's bogus, and they were just trying to say that to support all the harassment of hemming everybody up and detaining everybody and putting them in cuffs. You're putting little kids in cuffs, but you don't want to back it up. At the end of the day, they really need to actually lock them up if that's what you're saying that they're doing. Because otherwise, it seems like there's a bullshit excuse to harass these folks.
As of right now, yeah.
Mom! I want to speak to my mother. Mom! Shut up, boy! I know you out there!
Now, one of these moms is going to disappoint me, but let's go.
What you keep hollering for me for? You don't think I can hear you? Do you not understand that I'm already pissed off? Because you told me that you was staying after school. So how the hell your ass end up pissed off?
He called me and said,
And I don't give a when nobody called you and said, and you supposed to be your ass at my house. So how you get crossed out to Savannah Gardens?
because they called
I don't give a why is my daughter going to jail? Because you doing some extra.
No, ma'am, they was trying to jump Kamora and I jumped in.
Now, see, he was actually telling the truth. The mom don't know. She's a little upset. I mean, I get it. But, I mean, I was a child. I was not a perfect child. I got in trouble. I got whoopings. I used to hate them. I did some bad things. But that's a long time ago. I'm a grown up man. I don't have no extensive criminal history like you say. I walk the street freely. I'm not a felon. I can carry a gun, all that good stuff. I mean, I learned from my mistakes as a child. I don't do the same things I did when I was a kid. But maybe if I did some things like this and they got on my record, you know, they could have really hurt me in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like where I work, I probably couldn't even work right now if I had some of these silly ass charges that these cops would put on me. But it's just kind of crazy how these cops are willing to ruin some of these kids' lives over nothing. And I say nothing because it involved no serious issue like guns, crimes, drugs. Nobody got injured that they can see. It didn't involve anything like that. So why try to press that legal issue and mess somebody's life up like that? That's a child. Like I said, no excuses. If somebody got shot here, if the gun found, I'm like, you know, you got to take them to jail. You got to correct these children, you know, as soon as possible. But little scuffles and fights like stuff, I mean, I used to get into every now and then. I don't call myself a problem child. I call myself a child at the time. But like I said, I grew up and I learned from that stuff. I have a lot of hope that a lot of these kids, as they get older, they will realize this stuff. But my parent was a good parent, my mother and father, that is. We stayed in the house together, but I didn't always follow the things that they told me. But they tried to raise me the right way. I can't blame them because I didn't listen to what they said. I can only blame myself. So I wouldn't even put it on the parents. The parents can only try to, you know, educate you and tell you what to do. But if you don't actually follow it, you know, that's on yourself. But anyway, let's get back to this because this guy, the kid in the cop car, he's telling the truth. He's not lying. The mom's not really too caring about this, and she doesn't really look out for his rights either, as you see.
I just started shooting.
You got anything on you? Tell me now. A lighter? Where? Don't reach for it.
514, I call.
Have you been around weed? Because your clothes reek of it. Is there any on you?
I'm going to check the back of the patrol car and I'm going to find it if it's there, okay?
You might as well just tell us.
In
In
your
your sock?
sock?
Alright. And I'll take your shoes off.
Okay, so we finally found some drugs, maybe, and it's going to be, I guess, marijuana. But, you know, that's not what they were called for. This is something that they happen to find out because they arrested her for not answering a question, which is a bit ridiculous.
Pop this up.
Alright.
Alright.
So, I mean, weed is drugs, but it's not fentanyl, it's not heroin. I mean, weed is legal where I stay, is legal in the next state that I stay. So it's not really a big deal, except for that they're young, so they probably should be smoking weed. I'm going to assume that weed is illegal here and most likely illegal because she's a minor. But remember, this is not the reason why the cops were called. They had no idea that she had weed until they put it in the car. And then, of course, the smell would probably, you know, permeate with the closed windows. But it really had nothing to do with the call. They didn't take her down because of weed. They took her down because she didn't answer a question. And they said they were going to charge her with obstruction. So what are they going to do? Are they going to arrest this female for weed? Let's see.
Sit back in the car. She got nothing in her boxers.
Just the joint?
Just the joint. She had weed on her.
Yeah, we don't know.
No charges, right?
No charges.
Mom's ready.
See, here we go with this no charges stuff, man. I mean, like, what the hell were y'all doing with all these handcuffs and locking up and hemming up? But there's no charges. Sound like y'all doing something wrong. I'm telling you right here, right now, and I stand 10 toes down. This loitering and prowling is complete bullshit charge that they were accused him on. Loitering and prowling when they don't even witness it.
Right there. She comes over. Please. No charges. No charges.
Hear that? No charge. They don't have nothing because they're being petty. Like, you got to prove it. Like, if they loitering and prowling, you got to look at them and see them hanging around. The only point in time was they were sitting there seeing what the cops are going to do. And I guess because you're sitting there waiting and looking at the cops, seeing what the cops are going to do, they're calling that loitering and prowling. And then, of course, if you're sitting there looking at, see what they're going to do, if they walk up to you and ask you a question and you don't answer it, so now they're throwing obstruction charges on you. It's just crazy, man.
Mom's on the way. Once she gets here, we'll release. Got it?
She got a joint in her sock.
Who does?
This female officer keep talking about this joint, this weed. She trying to just find something to substantiate all this harassment they've been doing with these kids. They keep saying, well, we got some weed. We found some weed. And it was just a little joint. But the joint had absolutely nothing to do with all that crap they was doing. But they're going to say they did a good job because they found one joint out of all this.
Who's that one?
She's the one who threatened to kill us last time. But
well, I don't even know about this because this is the last time we didn't see it. We don't know whose line, he say, she say. Apparently now they recognize her, but at first they were asking her, you know, where she lived and all this and that. But now she knows that they ran into her before, so I don't know what to believe because, I mean, they act like they didn't know her at first.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Tell me what exactly went on.
So, our officers responded.
See, here's the thing. They don't really know what happened. They just know what happened when they got there. They saw nothing when they got there, but they didn't lie to a parent that their child was fighting. They don't know what really happened. It was just a call for a fight.
Responded to a fight that just occurred here. There's apparently 20 individuals. That was just a large fight.
Yeah.
When they arrived on scene, a lot of people scattered.
Yeah.
A couple of people came running up, and a couple people ended up getting detained because they were trying to fight the police officers.
Now, he said a couple people were detained because they were trying to fight police officer. To be clear, like I said, there was only one person that committed a crime. There was only one person that, I wouldn't say trying to start a fight, but she definitely was trying to break up whatever they were doing with her brother. But to say people were running up to them trying to fight is just ridiculous because most of them weren't even coming up to them. It was them kept going up to them, asking them where they live, and then the kids got agitated. But that's because they was asking them questions, not the other way around.
So I'm the new senior manager here.
Okay.
I'm not going to tolerate it. So if you are tied into this and you live on my property, you're going to get a notice to vacate.
Okay, and that makes sense. That makes sense. But I don't even think they did any type of note-taking and stuff. So, yeah, if you live there and you get into some fights, yeah, that makes sense. I don't have any problem with the homeowner saying, property owner saying this, or manager.
Okay. I already done got it from my ADO.
Have you met Linda? This is the property manager.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to get with her.
Okay.
You hurting anywhere, baby?
Now they checking on if you hurt. Like, look at this, man. Look how small this guy is. Remember this guy, they had him in a pretzel. Remember this one that was real terrified when they started approaching him, when they was like, yeah, the guy in the red, get him. You know what I'm saying? Look at these big officers, man. Like, this guy could really be scarred for life. Because at the end of the day, he really didn't commit any crime. He first came to the scene when he ran up to the other dude, and all he did was say, he just got here, he didn't do anything. But he didn't run it through and hit the cop. It's just that the cop stepped in so the boy wouldn't get too close. But he never committed any type of crime whatsoever. But look at him. All in a cop car, you know, scared, young. I mean, this doesn't have the community because he technically didn't do anything wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. He was loitering and prowling.
You okay? You slammed me on my head. My head is hurting. I fell dead on my body.
they did jive him up, and just like and he's not really, well, I don't know about the damage, but he did hit his head. Remember, this the guy was in the pretzel. Okay, I don't know why they had him and all this and that, and they balled him up, and you know he was definitely on the ground. Actually, he might not have been the guy in the pretzel, but he was definitely on the ground, and they had him. And this one when he turned around and he looked real scared. I mean, you know, they just kind of grappled him. And like I said, you just gotta have to judge the seriousness of the crime. Like they did all this, and at the end of the day, there's no charges on him, and they're gonna let him go. So why did he get here in the first place? Why didn't just tell the guy to move along? I mean, is that it? They didn't have to go this whole 9 yards.
Do you want to go with EMS? Do you want him to go with EMS?
No, he's fine. Where y'all taking her to? Juvenile?
We're calling right now, so we'll let you know in just a minute. All right, love you too.
I mean, what do you expect? Kids are not going to like you when you rough them up like that. They're kids, man, and they're not even committing any serious crime. The only crime you said he was doing was some silly loitering and prowling.
I'm the mother.
Her?
My son, y'all just called me.
Other vehicle.
Oh, everybody knows. What's going on?
He claiming he wasn't out here fighting. He got put in handcuffs because he was out here fighting at some point in time with somebody.
Now, how do they know this? How do cops know this? They ain't see him fighting. It's alleged.
So he's not getting charged today, but since
he's not getting charged because they didn't see him fighting. They have no proof that he was fighting. Just hearsay, she say. He probably was fighting, but I'm talking about legally. They don't know he was fighting. They ain't see him fighting. I ain't see him go look at no video. They don't know he was fighting. But yes, he was out there with everybody else. Like I said, all 20 of them should be in the back of the cop car charged with loitering and prowling. I don't know why he just one of the few that was loitering, although he was with everybody else that was allegedly loitering.
Juvenile, we got to release him to your custody.
So what happened?
Big fight ensued, and we showed up.
Who was he fighting?
He fighting nobody. Come on. Hey, face the vehicle for me.
Turn that way, CJ.
They don't know he was fighting. They don't know who he was fighting because they didn't see a fight.
And so I'm not telling you what to do, but I think you need to make better decisions. I didn't say. Do me a favor, man. So.
There you go. Don't admit to no crime to these people. He ain't doing anything. Don't admit to a crime. Hold on 1 second. I need to make this volume real quick. See if I can turn this up. Bear with me. All right. Let's keep going.
Yeah, he'll be outside.
I'm just saying. The point that I'm trying to make.
We have to take photos. Hey.
The point that I'm trying to get him to understand is regardless if he gets into stuff or not, who he hang out with, he don't need to hang out with.
He don't hang out with nobody.
He hang out with somebody.
No, that's my son. He's not a problem child.
Yeah, well, the cop's trying to make it out the scene. He's like a problem child because he's trying to give him all this cop-splaining advice. But at the end of the day, they kids. I'm pretty sure some people were fighting. I don't know who was fighting. They don't know who was fighting. But it's going to happen as a kid. I mean, it just is. I don't know why everybody think, everybody's kid going to be gossiping. Everybody gets into a little bit of trouble. I'm just glad that they weren't out robbing people and shooting people and stuff like that. But apparently it's not good enough for cops. It just seemed like it's a little young child thing that happened here today.
No. Anything else?
Nope. Y'all are
okay. Thank you. Every black child is not a problem child.
Now, it's not funny, but this is true. Just don't think everybody's broken. Just gonna think because they black, they got this issue. Cause I'm trying to think, is this the video? I didn't really want to post the video, the original video, because there was a lot of racist comments in there. They act like this only happens with black people, like you can't go on YouTube and see, white people fighting. But the whole point is that this is not even a serious video. It's not a gun, really drug pushing thing. It's not a violence video. It's just a fight. But the original video had a lot of racist comments in there about, stereotypes, young black kids. And I don't want to promote that. Because this issue, I see it everywhere, and people will mention that this whole 13%. Well, not to go in too deep, but white people commit more crimes than anybody else. Okay, it's just that some of the serious crimes are involved with black people, but this wouldn't even fit into that 12% narrative because this is not even considered a serious crime. This fighting stuff happens with everybody, all ages, all races. It doesn't even fit into that stereotype to even put it in there. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody gonna have some fights. But if you go look up crimes, white people commit more crimes than anybody else, and this is one of the crimes that fits into it. But anyway, that's why I ain't linked the original video. It's just too much black white stuff going on there. It's just so sad that, you know, everybody wants to paint some type of narrative instead of just look at it as a child problem. So we're gonna leave it at that. I'm leaving it as they were just a child, kid, high school problem, and they just happen to be black, because I don't see any serious crime going on here at all whatsoever, unless you really think these people were out here. They were out here fighting at some point. I don't know who. They were out here fighting. I give them that. That's why I'm saying the disorderly conduct charge might have been the closest possible reach, but the loitering and prowling is just retarded.
I didn't say he was.
I'm just saying how he was just walking. Y'all put my child in handcuffs because he.
That's, well, he was walking and he didn't answer questions. That's why he got in handcuffs. So this is why they upset. This is why some people don't like police. But he was right. He was walking, but he got asked a question. And the cops act like he has no right to remain silent, so he found himself in handcuffs. That's all fact. You can go back and rewind the video.
So you believe your child over the police?
Well, if you look at this video, the police officer doing a lot of lying to the cops. So why would we want to believe the police if they're doing lying to the young and the impressionable? You know what I'm saying? They did some lying about the law and all that stuff. So yeah, we probably will believe the kid over the cops because y'all lie. But legally, they're allowed to lie. So I'm not saying they're breaking the law, because courts already ruled that cops can lie to you. I don't think it's right, but apparently it's allowed by law.
Okay. So out of all the kids that was actually fighting, y'all just detained the kids that wasn't.
This is kind of true, but in the cops' defense, which is not a defense, they don't know who was fighting because they didn't see anything. You see what I'm saying? They didn't see anybody. They can't say definitively one person was fighting. They didn't see it. But what they really did was detain the kids that they asked the question and they refused to answer and called it obstruction. That's what they did.
So this is the way it worked. When I rolled up, everybody scattered, okay? So I don't know who was fighting, but if they don't live here, it's called loitering and prowling.
Now, I just don't understand that, man. And like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I am very well educated on the law. I've never been arrested for loitering and prowling. But I know they're time-based, because loitering means hanging around aimlessly, okay? Now, from what he said, if they don't live here, is loitering and prowling. That's a goddamn lie. That's a goddamn lie. Because it means you can't have any friends over. It means, yeah, you can't have friends over. And if y'all just want to sit out on the front steps and talk, it's loitering and prowling because you don't live there. So clearly it's not cut and dry like this cop is saying. But he's going to tell these parents that it is. So now he gonna say, well, nobody can hang around outside no more if you have a friend over. I'm pretty sure this apartment complex allows friends over. I'm pretty sure there's nothing that says in their lease agreement, hey, if you have a friend over, you must talk inside. You can't stand outside and have a chill conversation. Just think about it. You can't just walk outside and just talk about the day because you don't live there. But you live there, but the three people that can't see you don't live there, and now it's loitering and prowling. This is just ridiculous. Why would this cop spew this dumb, retarded narrative? That's not what loitering and prowling is. If you look at the definition, it's going to say nothing about if you don't live here, it's loitering and prowling. I 100% know it doesn't say anything like that. You actually have to loiter and prowl. Okay? But these are time-based. It takes time to loiter and prowl. Okay? You can't just see somebody and say they're loitering and prowling. Because loitering is hanging around. You got to see them hang around a bit. But it's just crazy how much they push in this narrative.
What's your name and badge number anyway? We have a black stick.
Officer Johnson, 16.
Oh, okay, let me get a card.
I don't have a card, actually.
Y'all gonna just go put him in handcuffs. And y'all ain't got a reason, so I don't. He wasn't fighting. He wasn't fighting. He just was coming from my sister. He wasn't even fighting. She got him on the video camera. Coming to the house and coming from school. Y'all tell him.
And see, the police officer, just to look on his face, he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care what happened, that, you know, you got men with guns, you know, hemming up little kids and what type of effect it might have on them. And he definitely doesn't care that the community doesn't like police. And that's why there will always be a gap between the community and police, because there's always bad cops out here. And there's always cops that go overboard. There's always cops that do extra. There's always cops that will make up bogus charges like loitering and prowling. Because if it wasn't this video, in the next video, it'll be a cop trying to hit you with disorderly conduct. Because, like I said, if you can't find a charge, you can almost always stick disorderly conduct in there. You know what I'm saying? And you can't beat the ride. You know, you can't beat the ride to jail. You know, you got to waste that time sitting in jail. Then you got to beat it in court. That's why I say always sue if they drop the charges.
Something else. Y'all better go to the ones that y'all need to go to.
Did anybody tell me what happened?
No.
Stop that. Stop it.
See, and look at mom. She doesn't even care. Like, that's her son. He's a minor. She doesn't even care how the cops treated him at all. She's just kind of assuming, I guess, that he's a bad guy. But they really did not, you know, he's not arrested, but I'm going to use the word arrested anyway, because, you know, he got detained, he got handcuffs put on him, and he was sitting in the car. Because, anyway, a detainment is sort of like a de facto arrest. But anyway, she doesn't even care. What did his hat say? I love, did I say slut? Anyway, she doesn't even care what happened to him, but he's telling the truth. They pretty much detained him for nothing, but basically because he didn't answer the question and threw him in the backseat of the car. The mom don't care. I don't really like this mom.
No, you ain't coming out until your mom says so.
Now, why is this cop adding this shit? But here's the thing. Even though that's his mom, she don't have the right to detain him in a police car. The cops still gonna only detain this child if they have a valid reason. They can't just say, your mom can't come out here and say, hey, here's my child, keep him locked in the back of your police car and take him to jail. The cops can't do that. They still got to have a legal reason to do so.
Send him right back in there for me, please. Yeah. Send him back in there. Can anybody tell me what's going on?
We got a call that they were about to.
Why would she not want to hear from her own son about what happened? That's why I don't really like this mom. She doesn't really seem to care about her son. At least hear what his son had to say. And actually, what her son said was the goddamn truth. They really locked him up for nothing. But we just know that it's because he was asked a question. Now, if you really think not answering the question is valid for him sitting in the back of that police car, well, you're an idiot. Anyway, so she wants to hear from the police that lie. And let's see if they even tell the story right.
20 children up here fighting. So when I showed up, everybody kind of scattered, and then he refused to identify himself.
Well, see, we didn't see him not identified. I mean, I may have been smoking, even though I don't smoke. But all I heard him say was where you live, what building, and all this, and he didn't answer. I didn't hear him say what's your name, what's your date of birth, how old are you. I didn't hear him. Now he's saying refuse to identify. So that's how he's trying to justify obstruction. But for obstruction, all I saw was that he didn't answer a question. He didn't ask me to identify.
So refused to give me his name and his birthday. So at that point it became obstruction.
Now, like I said, I've had to rewind back. I don't recall him asking for his name and birthday. But even if he didn't answer, he would have to have a valid reason. This had to be a stop and identify state, something I haven't confirmed yet. Otherwise, he should be able to remain quiet.
He went to handcuffs to be detained. That's why he didn't. We're not going to pursue those charges.
Now, there's a reason why they pursue those charges, because they know they bogus and they know they petty and they did a whole lot of extra shit just to get him in that police car.
I'm going to release him to you.
What are the charges?
Loitering and prowling.
Now he added loitering and prowling. First he said it was obstruction for not identified. Now he just added loitering and prowling to it. Like, how you doing all three at the same time, man? I mean, I don't get it. But everybody that got in the police car got the same 3 bullshit charges.
Obstruction and obstruction. But
Do you know what your charges are? Listen, if I ask you one more question and you shake your head at me and you ask me.
She asked him a question. He shook his head no. He don't know the charges, probably because they bogus.
With attitude, they can go ahead and take you because I'm getting sick of this.
Well, see, they couldn't take him unless they actually pressed those bogus ass charges. But when if they were to bring this to court, I'm pretty sure the prosecutors would laugh him on out the courtroom for bringing this child down. They would never, no jury find this man guilty of loitering and prowling. Loitering, maybe, but if he knows some people there and he's seeing some friends, I don't know how it could be loitering. Like I said, otherwise, every time you got somebody come over your house and y'all chill outside, it's loitering. That don't make any common sense.
Why didn't you tell this man he ain't lying on you? I know your attitude. This man is not lying on you.
She don't know this officer from a can of paint. The officer don't know what happened till he got there, and the interaction with him, we all saw in video, and he just lied about it. But she wants to take the police officer's side, and she don't know that guy. This officer probably lies every day on the job, but she's taking his side.
You should not have came down here. It is a phone in the schoolhouse that you can use, and several phones there. Somebody is coming to get you. You know that. And then you got an attitude.
Why would you not have an attitude, man? I don't like this mom. She doesn't care about her son, and she believes in everything the cops said. And like I said, there's only one person out here that was actually guilty of a crime, and it was not him. These cops were simply out of control, and his mom doesn't believe that cops can be out of control.
Thank you. Ma'am, thank you.
On my phone, no, he arrested me because I didn't want to answer his question.
See, these kids ain't dumb. This is the truth, but I don't understand why their parents are not thinking, hey, these cops are lying. She got arrested because she didn't answer his question, and that was a fact, and she has the right to remain silent. This is crazy that they doing. They try to coerce her into talking and scare her into talking by arresting her, putting her in the back of the truck in handcuffs, and let her sit and rot in there. This is crazy. I mean, as a parent, I'd be outrageous.
Okay, Camaro, what's wrong with that?
See, this is how I don't like this parent even. She just said she got arrested for not answering questions. And her mom goes, what's wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with this parent? What seems right to you about getting arrested for not answering a question? This parent makes me sick.
Camaro, you are in somebody else's property.
Well, I got a buddy, man. His name is Mark. I go over his house a couple times. We hang out and chill. It's somebody else's property. It's not mine. It's Mark's. But why should I have to answer a police officer question just because I'm on somebody else's property? It doesn't make any sense at all. And she really needs to watch my YouTube channel and learn her constitutional rights.
That don't work like that.
I talked to her dad. The paperwork will be sent to that address that they live at over in Iowa. All right, so just wait for the court date.
So I guess they did charge it for the weed. They ain't taking it to jail, but they did get it for the little small ass blunt. So I guess weed is illegal where they at. Would be the case if it happened where I stay, DMV.
I called the jail to see if they were going to take her, but the jail wasn't going to. That's literally the only reason she's not.
So they were really, really, really pressed to take her to jail over that little ass blunt, weed, or whatever you want to call it, that little ass shit. They were trying to take the minor all the way to jail. When, like I said, when weed is legal in a lot of states. But apparently not this one. But I guess I have to look that up. I guess when weed is legal, you have to be 18 and over. I mean, I get it. She's a child. She shouldn't have it. But, I mean, it wasn't like she was a drug pusher. She didn't have pounds and pounds of weed and nothing like that. She looked like she had one that she was smoking. And they're going to take her to jail for that and put that on the record and try to prevent her from getting a good job, like a government job later on that, you know, they can't have people that use drugs, and she might be not able to get the job because she had a drug charge from when she was, 15 or 16. I mean, that's just crazy.
Demora was charged with felony obstruction, loitering and prowling, and 2 counts of battery.
So let's go. Felony obstruction, I don't know what felony obstruction is. I guess to ask her some more questions. She didn't answer. I don't know what this loitering and prowling stuff is, but they actually went for that. Now the 2 batteries, I know what that is. They said she attacked 2 cops, but they actually went with this loitering and prowling. I mean, is it that simple to go over somebody's house, hang out for a little bit, and get charged with loitering and prowling? Is it that easy to get? I mean, that shit's scary. I mean, like I said, they can see you. You could legitimately be out there just chilling. And you're like, hey, you've been chilling too long. Loitering and prowling. I mean, that's crazy.
Gamoria was charged with possession of marijuana.
So this, I understand, she had the marijuana. Obstruction, dang, I guess they got her with not answering the question. And, man, I got to go look up this loitering and prowling. Because apparently it doesn't take much to loiter or prowl. Because they definitely going with these charges. This is crazy.
Obstruction and loitering and prowling. The others were released to the care and custody of their parent.
But if this girl and the other girl were loitering and prowling, why weren't all the other kids charged with loitering and prowling? I don't understand. You trying to tell me it was 20 people and only 2 people were loitering and prowling? Like I said, if it's a legit charge, if somehow the law there says if you stand there or you don't live there on the property, it's loitering and prowling, then why did every kid over there get charged with it? I mean, it's a serious question. I mean, how were some people standing chilling, but the other people standing in the same place with loitering and prowling? Doesn't make any sense.
One parent made it clear that the blame for the entire situation was the fault of the police.
Well, they were a big part because they came in hot to no fight. Okay? When I say no fight, I mean no fight in progress. All they had to do was just stand around and tell people to go home or just stand around. They weren't going to fight in front of them. Nobody fought in front of them. But these police officers, man, they had to try to earn their money today.
Who responded to numerous 911 calls related to a large fight. They are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Where do you live?
I'm going to look this up and see what happened to these charges. It's going to be kind of hard because they minors. But I can't believe prosecutors would go ahead. Now, the drug charge, she probably going to get that. But the loitering and prowling, those should be dropped. Now, the assault on the officer, she'll probably get that. Although I ain't really see her swing a punch, but she did touch him, so still petty. So her life would be ruined when she tried to get a job when she's 19, 20, and they see that she fought some officers when she was a child. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, if I'm gonna hire somebody, I really want to know if they did some serious crimes. Like, I really don't want to hire any drug dealers, of course. I definitely don't want to hire people who've done some serious crimes. There's certain jobs that you can, but I wouldn't work, at my particular business if they done stuff like shooting people, robbing people, stabbing people. You need to get a different type job if, that's what happened in your background. But none of these kids fit that dangerous mold. Like, I wouldn't exclude any of them from working at, my business. I let them in, like I said, but if you do some extreme break the law, I got to get you out of here. But these kids, I mean, they were just kids, man. And I don't know why these cops felt like they had to do what they had to do. I don't really think they helped out the community. I think they potentially ruined a couple of kids' lives over something minor. But, I may be the only one that thinks like this. I understand the cops got to do a job, but they got to weigh it, man. They got to weigh that they're dealing with kids. These kids would never like cops for the rest of their life over something simple. When all they had to do is just tell them to go home. That's it, man. Let the one girl get a phone. Just say, hey, go home. They could have just stood out there, and I guarantee you they were not going to fight in front of the cops. That's all they had to do. Just keep their presence. But going around asking people questions and locking them up for it when they don't answer is just ridiculous. All right, long ass video. If you stayed to the end, let me know what you think.